No one expected it, not the fans, not even the family on screen. But the moment Ty Borden stepped back onto Heartland Ranch, everything changed. After years of pain, questions, and silence, he's back. But is this real, or is Heartland playing? With our hearts again, before we dive into the emotional whirlwind of Season 19's premiere, let's take a moment to look back at the story of Ty Borden, the young man who arrived at Heartland with nothing but a troubled past, and who ended up becoming the heart of the show. Ty wasn't always the strong, grounded person we remember. When we first met him in Season 1, he was angry, lost, and unsure of his place in the world. He had been in and out of foster homes, carrying scars no one could see. Marian Fleming gave him a chance when no one else would. She brought him to Heartland to work as a ranch hand, and without realizing it, gave him a second shot at life. Over time, Ty found a sense of belonging. He learned responsibility, discipline, and how to care not just for horses, but for people too. And slowly, he let his guard down, especially around Amy. Their connection wasn't instant romance. It was awkward, complicated, and slow burning, but that's what made it real. It was the kind of love that grew with time, through shared pain and small victories. Ty worked hard to become someone he could be proud of. He studied to become a vet, facing challenge after challenge. He wasn't perfect. He had moments of doubt, anger, and fear, but he kept going. And through it all, Amy stood beside him. She believed in him, and eventually, so did Jack, Lou, and the rest of the family. Ty became more than just the ranch hand. He became a son to Jack, a brother to Lou, and a partner to Amy. By the time they got married, it felt like a victory. Not just for Ty and Amy, but for every fan who had followed their journey from the very beginning. And when they had their daughter, Lyndy, it felt like the perfect full-circle moment. Ty had once been a lost child, and now he was raising one with love, safety, and purpose. But then came the shock no one saw coming. Season 14 opened with a moment that shattered millions of hearts. Ty's unexpected death, caused by complications from a gunshot wound, left Amy, the family, and the fans in disbelief. The scene was quiet, no dramatic music, no warning. Just a peaceful moment stolen too soon. It felt unreal, almost cruel. And the silence that followed in the show mirrored the silence fans felt at home. For many, it was like losing a close friend. The decision to write Ty out of the series was bold. Actor Wardle, who played Ty, had decided it was time to move on. He wanted to explore new paths in life. The show respected his choice and gave the character an emotional farewell. Still, it left a hole in the story, one that no new character could fill. For the next few seasons, Heartland shifted. Amy tried to find her strength again. She raised Lyndy as a single mother. Jack, Lou, and Tim became her anchors, but something always felt missing. Ty's absence was more than just the loss of a character. It changed the entire tone of the show. Fans never stopped hoping. Every new season brought rumors, fan theories, and wishful thinking. Could Ty return in a flashback? A dream, a letter, something, anything. Then came Season 19. The trailer was simple: ranch life, horses, Amy looking out at the fields, and then a voice. Ty's voice. It was soft, familiar, and for a moment, everyone watching forgot to breathe. The internet lit up. Clips were shared, slowed down, analyzed. Was this real? Had Graham returned? Was it a dream sequence, a memory, or something more? This leads us to the biggest twist Heartland has delivered in years. Episode 1 of Season 19 doesn't just tease Ty, it brings him back, fully, in person. On screen, standing beside Amy. But how? And why now? That's where the story really begins to unfold. When the screen faded in on Season 19, Episode 1, no one was truly ready for what was about to happen. Asterisk the episode begins like many others. The sound of hooves, the familiar golden glow of Heartland's morning light, Amy feeding horses, Lyndy laughing in the background. It all feels normal, peaceful, like any other day on the ranch. But there's something different in Amy's eyes. She pauses, looks out at the hills. It's like she senses something or someone, asterisk, and then, just as she turns, we hear it. A voice, calm, steady, unmistakable, asterisk greater than still the first one up. Huh. Asterisk Amy freezes. Her hand drops the bucket. And there he is. Asterisk Ty, standing just a few steps away. Not a memory, not a photograph, not a dream. Ty Borden, alive, right in front of her, asterisk for a moment. The show doesn't play any music. It's just silence, birds chirping in the distance. Amy can't speak, her lips tremble, her eyes fill with tears. She walks toward him, slowly, like she's afraid he'll vanish if she blinks, asterisk and fans around the world. They broke down, asterisk social media exploded within minutes of the episode airing. Some people were crying, others were shouting at their screens. Many couldn't believe it. After 5 long seasons of loss, confusion, and questions, Ty was back. Not as a flashback, not as a ghost, not in a dream. Really, truly, there. Asterisk, but how? Asterisk, that's the question that lingers in the minds of viewers throughout the episode. The show is careful not to give everything away too fast. At first, it doesn't explain anything. It just lets the moment breathe. We see Amy's hands touch Ty's face. She whispers, "Is it really you?" And Ty answers with a soft smile. "I came home." Asterisk later, we learn more. Asterisk the story reveals that Ty had never truly died, or at least, not in the way we were led to believe, after collapsing from complications. In season 14, Ty was rushed to another medical facility off-screen, where he was placed in an emergency-induced coma. The doctors believed there was little hope. The family was told he wouldn't make it. And in the pain and confusion, they let go, asterisk, but against all odds, Ty survived. His recovery was slow and painful. Months in the hospital, followed by time away in a private care facility. And here's where the writers took a bold twist. Ty chose not to return until he was strong enough. He didn't want Amy and Lyndy to see him broken or half alive. He wanted to come back whole body and mind. Asterisk that twist, it hit fans hard. Asterisk some felt relieved, even joyful, to have Ty back. Others were confused, even upset, about the fake-out. But most understood what the writers were trying to do. They weren't trying to lie. They were showing that sometimes, even in real life, people vanish, go through a deep trauma, and come back changed. Ty's return was not just a dramatic surprise. It was symbolic, a second chance. A new beginning. Asterisk the episode handles the reveal carefully. Ty doesn't come home to celebration. He comes home to shock, to questions, and to emotional chaos. Amy wants to believe, but she's scared. Lyndy doesn't understand who this man is at first, and Jack. Jack stands in stunned silence, his face full of tears, before finally pulling Ty into a hug that says everything words can't. Asterisk, what's powerful about this episode is how real it feels. The writers don't turn it into a soap opera. They don't rush past the pain. They let it be messy, quiet, human. Asterisk, there's a beautiful scene about halfway through the episode. Ty sits in the barn, alone, touching the old saddle he used to use. Amy walks in and sits beside him. They don't speak at first. Then she says, asterisk greater than I thought I lost you. Asterisk and Ty replies, you kept me alive. Even when I didn't know it. Asterisk, it's a moment that echoes every season of the show. Heartland has always been about family, healing, and hope. Ty's return captures all three, and Graham Wardle's performance. Quiet, emotional, and full of meaning, he doesn't overact. He just shows us a man who has been through the fire and made it back. Asterisk behind the scenes, fans learned that Wardle returned to the show for season 19 under very specific terms. He had taken time away to focus on personal growth, spiritual journeys, and creative work. But something drew him back, perhaps the love of the fans, or unfinished business in Ty's story. Whatever the reason, his return felt like a gift. This comeback wasn't just about fan service. It was about closure, hope, and the idea that sometimes love really can bring someone back. Ty's return didn't just shake the audience, it shook the foundation of the Heartland family. After 5 seasons of grieving, adjusting, and learning to live without him, seeing Ty Borden alive and walking back into the ranch was like a dream too good to be true. But it wasn't a dream, it was real, and the emotional reactions from each member of the family weren't just touching, they were some of the most powerful moments Heartland has ever delivered. Let's start with Amy, because her world changed the most. From the second she laid eyes on Ty, Amy looked like someone trying to breathe underwater. It wasn't happiness at first. It was disbelief, shock, fear that she was imagining it all. Her hands trembled as she reached out to touch his face. Her voice cracked when she said, "You're here. How?" And then came the tears, the kind that come from deep inside, from years of held-in grief and unanswered prayers. Amy's journey without Ty had been lonely, even when surrounded by family. She focused on raising Lyndy, kept working with horses, and tried to find her strength again. But Ty was more than her husband. He was her best friend, her anchor. Losing him was like losing part of herself. Seeing him again brought every emotion back at once: love, pain, joy, anger, confusion. It wasn't an instant fairy tale reunion. It was real, messy, honest. She pulled him into a hug, then pulled away, needing answers. Ty's return didn't erase the years of pain. It brought them all rushing back. But slowly, as the minutes passed, Amy let herself believe, not just in what she saw, but in what she felt. And when she finally whispered, "You came back to me," it wasn't a question. It was a quiet promise to start again. Then came Jack. The toughest man on the ranch, the father figure to so many, was speechless. When he saw Ty walk through the barn doors, Jack didn't say a word. He just stared, frozen, like he was seeing a ghost. His hands clenched at his sides, his jaw tightened. And then, slowly, his face changed. Tears welled up in his eyes, not something we see often from Jack Bartlett. He stepped forward, paused, and pulled Ty into the kind of hug that says more than any line of dialogue ever could. Jack had watched Ty grow up. He taught him how to be a man. Losing Ty broke something in him that he never fully healed. Seeing him again was like watching a miracle unfold in front of him. For Jack, it wasn't just about Ty's return, it was about getting a piece of himself back. Lou, Amy's older sister, reacted differently. Lou has always been the practical one, the planner, the protector. So her reaction wasn't emotional at first, it was suspicious. She asked the questions no one else wanted to ask. Where have you been? Why didn't we know? Why now? But underneath the questions, there was pain. Lou had taken on the role of helping Amy through the loss. She had become a second parent to Lyndy when Amy was struggling. And now, faced with Ty's return, Lou wasn't just processing the shock. She was trying to protect her sister again. She didn't want Amy to get hurt. She didn't want this to be some illusion. But then, Lou saw the way Ty looked at Amy, the way Lyndy smiled when she saw him. And she broke. She hugged Ty with a mix of relief and quiet forgiveness. Because even if the road back was complicated, the love they all had for him never went away. Tim, Amy's father, handled it the only way Tim knows how, with anger first, then emotion. He barged into the scene when he heard Ty was back, demanding answers. He shouted things like, "You let us believe you were dead, and do you know what this did to Amy?" To Jack, his voice was rough, his face red with frustration. But deep down, it was pain talking. Asterisk Tim has always struggled with vulnerability. He masks his feelings with tough talk and harsh reactions. But underneath, he's just as emotional as the rest. And when Ty explained why he stayed away, why he didn't want to be seen until he could be the man they remembered, Tim's walls crumbled. He didn't say much after that. He just stood there, eyes full of tears, and gave Ty a firm handshake that turned into a hug. Asterisk, but perhaps the most touching reaction came from the smallest member of the family, Lyndy, asterisk at first. She didn't know who Ty was. She had memories, but they were fuzzy, pictures, stories, dreams. That's all she had. So when she saw this man standing beside her mother, she looked confused, quiet, curious. She reached out slowly, touched his hand, and asked, "Are you?" The cowboy from Mommy's Stories, asterisk Ty knelt down, eye to eye with her, smiled through tears, and said, "I am. And I've waited a long time to see you again." Asterisk that single line broke hearts everywhere. Asterisk in that moment, Lyndy wrapped her small arms around his neck. And just like that, Ty had his family back. Not because everything was perfect, but because love had survived everything. Asterisk throughout the rest of the episode, we see the family slowly adjusting. There are moments of laughter, quiet talks by the fire, and shared meals that feel heavier than usual. The ranch feels whole again, but not untouched. The pain of the past hasn't disappeared. It's just been joined by something stronger, hope. Asterisk the writers were careful not to make this feel like a fairy tale. Ty's return wasn't the end of a story. It was the beginning of a new one. And the reactions of each family member showed just how deep their bonds go. They didn't welcome him back with easy smiles. They welcomed him with real emotion, with questions, tears, hugs, and forgiveness. Asterisk Heartland has always been about more than horses and country life. It's about healing, about finding your way back after you've been lost. Ty's return reminded us all of that. And for the family and the fans, it was a moment no one will ever forget. Asterisk Ty's return didn't just rewrite the story of Heartland, it reignited a love that fans had watched grow over nearly 2 decades, a love between Ty and Amy that had endured tragedy, distance, and time. But now, it's no longer about picking up where they left off. This is a new journey. A deeper one, asterisk, after the emotional wave of reunion calms down, Ty and Amy begin to find their footing again, not as the couple they used to be, but as the people they become in the years apart. They've both changed. Amy has become stronger, more independent, and focused entirely on raising Lyndy and healing horses. Ty, after surviving something close to death and spending years away, carries a quiet sadness, but also a deeper understanding of life. Asterisk their first moments together are not full of grand speeches or over-the-top romance. They're quiet, real. The camera lingers on their conversations, their silences, the small looks they give each other. Amy watches him from across the table, still not quite believing he's really there. Ty, on the other hand, keeps glancing at Lyndy like he's trying to memorize her face, the daughter he missed so much of. Asterisk, there's a moving scene where Ty walks Amy out to the barn at sunset. They sit on the old bench by the corral, the same place where they used to talk when they were young. Ty holds her hand and says, asterisk, everything's different now. But I want to learn it all again with you. Asterisk, Amy doesn't answer with words. She just leans her head on his shoulder. That moment says everything. They're not rushing. They're starting again, slowly, with patience and care. Asterisk, one of the biggest themes this season explores is second chances. Ty and Amy both have scars, physical, emotional, and invisible ones. But instead of hiding them, they begin to share them. Ty opens up about his recovery, the loneliness, the doubt, the nights he wanted to give up. Amy talks about her grief, the way she felt like she was drifting for years. And in that honesty, they find something stronger than before. Trust. Asterisk, they begin to rebuild their life, not by trying to recreate the past. But by creating something new, Ty returns to the ranch work slowly, not just with horses, but with people. He starts helping a young boy in the community who reminds him of himself, lost, angry, and scared. It's clear Ty's pain has given him a new purpose, to help others heal the way he was once helped. Amy, meanwhile, returns to her equine therapy with a new passion. She starts focusing more on helping families reconnect, especially children who have lost parents or gone through trauma. Together, they also focus on Lyndy. Watching them parent together is one of the most heartwarming parts of this new chapter. Ty helps Lyndy learn to ride without fear. He tells her stories about the animals on the ranch and teaches her how to care for them. Amy watches with quiet pride, often brushing away tears as she sees the bond grow between them. One special moment comes when Ty tucks Lyndy in and tells her, greater than you were the light that brought me back. Every night, I dreamed of hearing your voice. And Lyndy replies, greater than I waited for you, Daddy. Scenes like these are what Heartland does best. No big special effects, no loud drama, just raw, emotional truth. This season also shows Ty and Amy facing new challenges. Not everything is magically perfect. Ty has anxiety, flashbacks, and moments of fear. Amy still struggles with trust, unsure if life could take him away again. But instead of pushing each other away, they lean in. They go to counseling together. They talk more. They listen. They fight sometimes, but they never shut down. It's mature love. Hard-earned love. There's also the question of the future. What does life look like for them now? Will Ty return to full-time veterinary work? Will they consider expanding their family? Moving forward, the show teases a few possibilities. There's mention of Amy maybe restarting her clinic with Ty beside her. Jack encourages Ty to take over more responsibility at the ranch. Lou suggests involving him in her community projects. Slowly, it becomes clear Ty is home, and he's not going anywhere. But perhaps the most beautiful message from this new journey is that healing doesn't mean forgetting the pain. It means carrying it and growing anyway. Ty and Amy are no longer the young couple with stars in their eyes. They're parents, survivors, partners in the deepest sense. Their love is quieter now, but it's also stronger. It's the kind of love that has been tested, broken, and rebuilt. The final scene of the episode brings everything full circle. It's nighttime. Amy and Ty are sitting by the fire outside the house. Lyndy is asleep inside. The stars are out, and everything is calm. Ty looks over at Amy and says, greater than I never stopped loving you. Even when I didn't know if I'd make it back. Amy replies, I never stopped waiting. They hold hands. And the screen fades to black. No big music. Just the sound of crickets and wind in the trees. A quiet promise that this is only the beginning. For fans, this isn't just a plot twist. It's a gift, a reminder that even in the darkest stories, there's always a way back to the light. Ty and Amy's journey in season 19 is about love. After loss, strength after struggle, and the kind of hope that never dies. And for Heartland, it's a return to its roots, family, love, and the deep bond that keeps people going, no matter what they face. Ty Borden's return to Heartland wasn't just another plot point. It was a moment that reached deep into the hearts of fans across the world, fans who had cried when he left and who now found themselves crying again, this time for a much different reason. From the very beginning, Heartland has never been about flashy drama or big twists. It's about quiet strength, about family, about the power of love to heal, to forgive, and to rebuild. Ty and Amy's story has always been the heartbeat of the show. And in season 19, that heartbeat returned, but more than just bringing back a character, the writers brought back hope. They reminded us that healing isn't always about moving on. Sometimes it's about reconnecting, facing the pain, and finding joy again after deep sorrow. Asterisk fans who had stuck with the show through the difficult seasons now felt rewarded. Not just with Ty's return, but with a version of Heartland that once again felt whole. Amy smiling again, Lyndy laughing with her father. Jack sitting quietly on the porch, watching his family come back together. These are the kinds of moments that define Heartland. Not noise, not chaos, just truth. Asterisk the reactions from the fan community. Say it all across YouTube, Reddit, and Twitter. The comments poured in. Asterisk I haven't cried like this in years. This episode broke me in the best way. Asterisk Ty and Amy's love story is the reason I kept watching. Thank you for bringing it full circle. Asterisk this show gave me hope after losing someone in my own life. Seeing them together again meant more than I can explain. Asterisk that's the magic of Heartland. It tells stories that mirror our own. Stories of heartbreak, family struggles, personal growth, and love that survives everything. Asterisk the return of Ty Borden also sets the stage for something new. We're not going back to the old days, and that's a good thing. This is a new chapter. Ty and Amy aren't the same people they were when they first fell in love. They're wiser, stronger, and more grounded in what really matters. Asterisk and that's why season 19 isn't just the beginning of a new story for the characters. It's the beginning of a new emotional journey for us as viewers. A journey of rediscovery, of second chances, of moving forward together. Asterisk so as the sun sets on that final scene with Amy and Ty side by side, holding hands by the fire, the message is clear. Asterisk